We begin with the latest on the assassination of Haiti's president and the condition of the country's first lady. Martine Moise arriving in South Florida on Wednesday to be treated for her gunshot wounds. It, of course, comes after her husband was assassinated at his home in Port-au-Prince earlier in the day. Now, we're told the first lady has gunshot wounds to her arms and thigh, along with a severe injury to her hand and her abdomen. She was surrounded by law enforcement, as you can see here, as she was taken off of that air ambulance and loaded into a private ambulance. Now, Haiti's interim prime minister, Claude Joseph, said in a statement that the president's assassination was a coordinated attack. Now, on Wednesday, 2 people were arrested in that assassination. 4 others were killed by police. And we do have more on the actual assassination. The country's prime minister calling it hateful and barbaric, and also declaring a state of emergency across the country. Here's Matt Bradley.
There was a group of commandos, gunmen, anonymous, dressed in black, who arrived around 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning at the home of the president, Jovenel Moïse, just outside of Port-au-Prince, killed him and badly injured his wife, who's still in the hospital.
You know, there's been a lot of turmoil. There's been a lot of problems. But then again, we never expected this to happen.
We don't have any information on who these gunmen are, but some videos that have been circulating on social media do show that they sounded like they were speaking Spanish and English.
Those killers has to be identified. They have to be brought to justice.
It sounds as though the prime minister has taken control. Now, this in itself is a major part of the problem, because only a week before the president was killed, he appointed a new prime minister. That new prime minister was never sworn in, but it sounds as though he will have some claim to the premiership. Now, that means that this country, one of the poorest in the world, it was already reeling from political instability for much of the last several years, really for generations. This incident, this assassination, is going to add to the instability and probably the poverty and the violence that have beset Haiti for a very long time.
And the assassination not only sent much of Haiti into a panic, but it also sent shockwaves really all around the world, stunning world leaders, including American President Joe Biden. Here's Reed Binion with the reaction.
What's your reaction, Mr. President, to the Haitian president being assassinated?
We need a lot more information, but it's very worrisome about the state of Haiti.
President Biden says he's concerned the nation of Haiti may tumble into turmoil after the country's president, Jovenel Moïse, was assassinated during an attack on his private residence early Wednesday morning.
This horrible act was carried out by well-trained professional killers.
A state of siege has now been declared across Haiti for 15 days, meaning all borders are shut down and martial law is temporarily put in place.
It is an act that should be condemned by international community and is a threat to our region. And I believe it's necessary, it is more than necessary to get the U.S. assistance and investigating.
The United States calls on all political parties, civil society groups, and stakeholders to echo what we've heard from Acting Prime Minister Claude Joseph's call for calm, and to work together in the wake of this tragedy and to ensure peace and democratic governance.
Haiti's first lady has now been evacuated to the United States to be treated for injuries she sustained during the attack.
She's stable, but in critical condition. But thanks God, she's alive. She's not died, as they've been saying.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Well, now to some other news that we are watching today. Thanks to a handful of non-compliant passengers, a Caribbean vacation delayed a day for an entire plane full of travelers. An American Airlines flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to the Bahamas, supposed to arrive on Monday, but was pushed back until Tuesday. That's because some passengers apparently were not following the federal mask mandate. We've heard this before, and became disruptive to others. Now, they were told to exit the plane before it even took off. American Airlines did end up releasing a statement saying, quote, "We expect our customers to comply with our policies when they choose to fly with us, and we take action when that's not the case," end quote. Again, that flight eventually arrived in the Bahamas just 1 day late. Well, Caribbean American Heritage Month may be over, but the impact of that demographic is always undeniable in a lot of aspects of our lives. Our Damian Sogren caught up with a mover and shaker who's been making a difference in the field of immigration law.
U.S.-based Janelle Fernandez has utilized her Caribbean roots to propel her to greatness in the immigration law arena. She recently sat down to share more about her work, herself, and her aspirations.
My father from I was very, very young. I remember being maybe 5, 6 years old, and he just constantly would tell me, "You're going to do law." It took a while because I'm stubborn, and I was very, no, I'm not. I'm not doing what you told me to do. But yeah, eventually my life path just kind of led there, and he pushed until he got what he wanted, and here I am, making waves.
With a talent for writing and a passion for transactional law as opposed to litigation, Janelle was put on a path to immigration law specialization.
For a summer semester where they offer clinic options, they offer internship options, and immigration clinic was one of them. So I jumped into that because I had the immigration professor who I loved. And then when I came out of law school, you realize that the positions that we have in Miami are all litigation. Miami is very litigious. Everybody wants to sue everyone. So I've ended up finding an immigration position shortly, maybe a few months after I came out of law school. And it was something that was strictly transactional because of the fact that it was business immigration.
The Miami-based lawyer issues petitions on behalf of corporate professionals, entertainers, athletes, and models, and throughout her career has enjoyed much satisfaction through her work.
It just is an amazing feeling when you actually get an approval for a client. I've gotten approvals for clients that their case, and they came to me after their case was denied. So when you work on cases like that and they've already gotten denials, and you submit the case and you make your argument, and you submit the evidence, and then they actually do get the approval, it's really life-changing for people. And that is the part of my job that I really love, when you get that approval and it's like, this is such great news, thank you so much, you've changed my life. And it's like, little old me.
Janelle, who was born in the U.S. to Trinidadian and Jamaican parents, holds firm to her Caribbean heritage and encourages members of the diaspora to connect and help each other.
Very into my culture and definitely have utilized it, and I would suggest that more of the diaspora tries to utilize that. I know that there are groups from Jamaica. I know for a fact they have diaspora youth groups, and they do a lot. They do a lot, and they help the diaspora in the US, in Canada, in the UK. We're all over the place. And so connecting to each other will really help you when it comes to jobs, but not just jobs, just having, like I said, that camaraderie.
She looks forward to providing immigration options and solutions for ambitious members of the creative arts sector and general movers and shakers.
I'm very into artist visas. I'm very into working with artists. Like, the Caribbean, just in general, have so many talented individuals. And I've done cases for, music producers. I've done cases for artists, and people like that are really the people that I love to work with. I also do cases for people who have higher education, meaning bachelor's, master's, and they'll come over here and either want to open a company or work for a company over here. It just depends on what you studied. But a lot of what I love to do is, like I said, working with the artists and the people who are just doing amazing things.
Janelle continues to make the Caribbean community proud and continues to create an impact in the world of immigration law. Connect with her via contact at fernandesimmigration.com. This has been Damian Sogren for One Caribbean Television.